The Oracle's Curse. Long before Oedipus became a tragic figure, he was simply a baby, born to King Laius and Queen Jocasta of Thebes. But his arrival didn't bring joy. Instead, it came with a chilling prophecy. This child will grow up to kill his father and marry his mother. Imagine holding your newborn while being told he would be your end. Terrified, Laius ordered the baby to be taken to the mountains and killed. A servant, unable to do the unthinkable, pierced the baby's ankles and left him to die. But fate had other plans. A shepherd found the baby and brought him to the king and queen of Corinth, who raised him as their own. Oedipus grew up unaware of his true origins, but the prophecy lingered, like smoke that seeps through cracks. One day, as a young man, Oedipus overheard someone drunkenly say he wasn't his parents' real son. Confused and disturbed, he sought out the Oracle of Delphi to learn the truth. But the Oracle didn't give him clarity. Instead, it gave him terror. You will kill your father and marry your mother. No names, no specifics, just the same horrific fate, one he thought he could escape. So he did what many of us do when faced with inner fear. He ran. He fled Corinth, believing the people who raised him were the ones he needed to avoid. He thought geography could protect him from destiny, but you can't outrun what's inside you. Meeting the stranger at the crossroads. On his journey away from Corinth, Oedipus arrived at a narrow crossroads. There, he encountered a chariot carrying an older man, arrogant, commanding, dismissive. Words were exchanged, then fists, then weapons. Moments later, the man lay dead, along with several of his guards. Oedipus continued on, unaware that the man he had just killed was his real father. The prophecy had already begun to unfold, not because Oedipus sought it out, but because he didn't know himself. And this is where the myth begins to mirror us. How many times have we lashed out at people without knowing the full story? How often do we react from ego, fear, or pride, solving the riddle, ignoring the truth? After the bloody incident at the crossroads, Oedipus arrived at the gates of Thebes, a city in crisis. A monstrous sphinx was terrorizing the town, devouring anyone who couldn't answer its riddle. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 in the evening? Oedipus answered confidently, man. As a baby, he crawls. As an adult, he walks. In old age, he uses a cane. The Sphinx was defeated. Thebes was saved. And Oedipus became a hero. To reward him, the people crowned him king and offered him the widowed queen's hand in marriage. He accepted. He didn't know she was his mother. He didn't know the dead king he replaced was his father. Years passed. Oedipus ruled Thebes as a noble and wise king. He was admired, loved. He had children with Queen Jocasta and built a life he thought was righteous. Proof, he believed, that he had outrun fate. But destiny doesn't knock. It waits until you're comfortable. Then it burns everything down. Thebes was struck by a devastating plague. Crops failed, children died, people starved. The city groaned under the weight of divine punishment. The oracle was consulted once more. The message: the city suffers because the murderer of King Laius lives among you, unpunished. Oedipus, the hero king, vowed to find the killer and bring him to justice. He wanted truth. He demanded it. But what happens when truth becomes a mirror? He interrogated the prophet Tiresias, who warned him, "You are the curse. You are the man you seek." Oedipus was enraged. Denial is powerful, especially when truth threatens the identity we've built. He accused Tiresias of conspiracy. He blamed others. He doubled down on being the savior. But truth is patient. It doesn't shout the fall. When the truth became undeniable, the world Oedipus had built collapsed. Jocasta, his wife and mother, ran to her chambers and hanged herself. Oedipus found her body, broke down in horror, and took her golden brooches, stabbing out his own eyes. I have looked upon what I should not have seen. I have known what I should not have known. What we must learn. Oedipus's tale isn't about gods punishing mortals. It's about what happens when we refuse to face ourselves. He wasn't doomed by fate alone. He was doomed by fear, by ego, by the belief that if he just ran far enough, he could outrun the truth. But no matter how far you go, your shadow follows. His story forces us to ask, what am I running from? What truth have I buried under pride, performance, or denial? What patterns keep repeating in my life because I refuse to confront the root? In Greek tragedy, it's not the prophecy that destroys you. It's your refusal to look inward. We all have crossroads, moments where we choose comfort over truth, the mirror of fate. Oedipus did not lose because he was foolish. He lost because he refused to look inward. He was intelligent enough to solve the riddle of the Sphinx, brave enough to confront monsters, challenge prophecies, rise to kingship. But he wasn't brave enough to confront the whisper inside him, the one that said, what if the prophecy isn't nonsense? What if I am running from something inside myself? And in this, he mirrors so many of us. We chase success, attention, admiration, anything that makes us feel distant from our wounds. We go to war with the world when, in truth, our battlefield is internal. But fate, whether you believe in it mystically or psychologically, has a strange way of circling back. The parts of you that go ignored don't vanish. They grow louder in silence. They manifest in relationships you sabotage, dreams you never chase, habits you can't shake, addictions that numb but never satisfy. What killed Oedipus wasn't a sword. It wasn't the gods. It was the lie he told himself, the unwritten ending. What do we do with this? What do you do if you feel the same cycle looping in your life? The same mistakes, same fears, same self-sabotage? You don't need a prophet to tell you where that road ends. Oedipus already lived that story for you. The only way out is in. To stop, turn around, and walk straight into the parts of yourself you've spent years avoiding. The guilt, the shame, the fear of not being enough, the rage you inherited, the love you never received, the memories that visit at 2 a.m. And instead of silencing them, listen. Healing isn't heroic. It's messy. It's slow. It often looks like weakness, but it is the only thing that breaks the curse. See, you're not destined to live in tragedy, but if you avoid self-reflection, you are doomed to repeat one. And here's the powerful truth. You are not Oedipus. Your story is still being written. You can stop the loop before it completes, but only if you stop running. Because the moment you look within, the curse begins to break.